With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 4 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan. Make peace. Do good deeds. Heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nasze programy oferują wiele języków. Prosimy zobaczyć suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Naropa followed his spiritual teacher to a temple that was several stories high and ascended the steps. The great guru said,
"Well, if I had a devoted student, he would jump from here."
The venerated Mahasiddha Sri Naropa, vegetarian, and his incredible journey to enlightenment. Part 2 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Becoming a vegetarian is the way to live in harmony with animals and the planet. BKS Iyengar, vegetarian.
The friendly Monpa people of Tibet may express gratitude with tuchiche, or thank you in the Tibetan language. Enlightened viewers, I am Pamela. The saintly Monpa people appreciate your uplifting grace and pray that your days are filled with Buddha's blessings. Welcome to the venerated Mahasiddha Sri Naropa, vegetarian, and his incredible journey to enlightenment, part 2 of 2. Having overcome the 12 minor hardships to find his master Tilopa vegetarian, Naropa was finally able to meet the enlightened master. He was initiated by his master in a cave at Pashupatina Temple, a Hindu shrine on the river Bagmati bank, where Mahasiddha Sri Tilopa transmitted to him the unbroken lineage of the Vajrayana tradition. Naropa then received the 4 empowerments in Vajrayana Buddhism: the vase empowerment, the speech secret empowerment, the wisdom awareness empowerment, and the word empowerment. To receive an empowerment, Naropa would offer his master Tilopa a mandala. In turn, his venerated guru would show him various signs or symbols to illustrate each empowerment's meanings. For instance, during the vase empowerment transmission, Tilopa gave Naropa a string full of knots and asked him to untie them. Naropa untied the knots and gave the string back to his master, who threw it aside. Tilopa asked his disciple what he understood. Naropa responded,
"All beings are tied by the 8 worldly dharmas: praise and criticism, fame and disgrace, gain and loss, and happiness and misery, and we need to untie them. Once we have done so, we have to remain natural and rest the mind in itself without being artificial. We have to get rid of all our expectations, hopes, and fear."
The first 3 empowerments symbolize that appearances, sound, and clarity are inseparable from emptiness. Once mastered, they are said to ripen the mature mind. After receiving each of these 3 empowerments, Naropa meditated on their meanings for a year. Naropa then asked his master for the 4th empowerment, which liberates the mind and is an introduction to Mahamudra, or the Great Seal, which represents the highest level of teaching in Tibetan Buddhism. Naropa subsequently overcame an additional 12 major hardships while studying and meditating with Master Tilopa in order to achieve full enlightenment. Receiving the first major hardship, Naropa followed his spiritual teacher to a temple that was several stories high and ascended the steps. When they had reached the top, Tilopa sat down and rested against the wall. The great Guru said,
Well, if I had a devoted student, he would jump from here.
Naropa, having complete faith in his master, jumped without hesitation and broke every single bone in his body. As he lay there in excruciating pain, he thought to himself that he would not become enlightened in this lifetime. Thereby, he began to pray that he would meet Master Tilopa in the next life. While Naropa was praying, his guru appeared and asked him,
What happened to you?
Naropa replied that he had jumped at the instruction of his master and that he felt half dead. Mahasiddha Sri Tilopa responded,
Well, you know the body is actually a result of your actions and your disturbing emotions. That is what creates your physical body. In a way, it is not so important if you have it or not. However, I have some methods which I learned from the Dakinis.
Tilopa ran his hand over Naropa's skin, and his disciple was completely healed. Afterwards, Tilopa transmitted the entire teachings of the Demchok Tantra to his student. The great Guru told Naropa that he needed to meditate on freeing himself from the attachment of his mind. Naropa replied,
I know that what I need is to free myself from this clinging, but I am tied up by my ignorance. Either I fall into believing that things are there or that they are not there. I cannot really get above that. So what shall I do? I know the goal, but not the way.
Master Tilopa said,
You have to understand that the idea that things exist is false, and that the idea that things do not exist is also false. Whatever appears is illusory. What you should focus your mind on is the understanding of this illusion, and this understanding is in the continuity of your mind.
For 1 year, Naropa meditated on this teaching. Throughout that year, his master would sometimes behave as a child or an insane person in order to remind him that everything is an illusion. Naropa stayed in the forest to practice with his master, Mahasiddha Sri Tilopa, vegetarian. Through the next 4 hardships, devotedly following his master's instructions, Naropa suffered much physically. He was burned, beaten, nearly drowned, and pierced with sharpened bamboo. Each time, Master Tilopa would tell Naropa it was no problem and heal his injured body. Master Tilopa proceeded to instruct Naropa to liberate his mind, and with each new instruction, Naropa would meditate for a year on the new teachings before requesting more. The venerated Master Tilopa passed on the equality of the elements and the mind mirror of commitments. He taught Naropa the complete Tumo practice to gain control over body processes and the illusory body. In the 6th hardship, Naropa followed his master to a vast sand plain, where they saw a man walking on the sand. Tilopa said,
Well, if I had a good disciple, then he would go immediately and catch that man. Otherwise, he is going to harm me.
Naropa ran after the man, but he never could catch him. He finally collapsed on the ground from exhaustion. Tilopa came up to Naropa and asked what had happened. He explained that the man was like a mirage and that it was impossible to catch the man. His guru replied,
Well, that's how it is in samsara. Everybody is running after illusionary things and always trying to attain something which is not really there. That's the problem of samsara. Now I will give you instructions on dream yoga, that everything is like a dream.
Tilopa taught Naropa the dream yoga, which he practiced for a year. After each hardship, Master Tilopa went on to teach Naropa the dream yoga, the clear light transmission, the FOA instructions, the practice of directing the transference of consciousness at the time of death, in which the awareness may be transferred to a pure realm to prevent reincarnation in the lower worlds, and the Karma Mudra. Despite all his suffering, Naropa never lost faith in his master, and so his master transmitted the illuminating wisdom Mahamudra instructions to him. When there was a lot of dust but no water, Naropa offered his master a body mandala by cutting himself and using his own blood to bring down the dust. Tilopa then transmitted the bardo instructions to him. After a year, Naropa asked for additional instructions, and Master Tilopa slapped him on the head with his shoe, telling Naropa that there was nothing left to teach. His master said,
"The final realization is in your own mind."
The great Guru Tilopa further gave Mahasiddha Sri Naropa instructions about Mahamudra through a song known as the Ganges Mahamudra. Some of the stanzas are as follows.
Mahamudra cannot be taught, Naropa, but your devotion to your teacher and the hardships you've met have made you patient in suffering and also wise. Take this to heart, my worthy student.
After spending 12 years with his great master studying the Dharma and undergoing the 12 major hardships, Master Naropa's ego and pride were entirely eliminated, and he achieved complete enlightenment. During a lecture given in 1990 in Taiwan, also known as Formosa, our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai Vegan explained.
不过，因为他训练他这个样子啊，以后他才变很出名的名士啊，很有慈悲心。这个 Naropa 以后对他的徒弟啊非常好，也是因为训练他这样，以后有人笑他，他不会被笑掉，懂吗？有人用火笑他，他不死。
Mahasiddha Sri Naropa is known for collating the 6 Dharmas of Naropa, a series of advanced Tibetan Buddhist tantric meditation practices meant to assist one in achieving Buddhahood more quickly. Naropa would pass on these ancient and sacred teachings to his foremost disciple, His Holiness Marpa Lotsawa Vegetarian, or Marpa the Translator, a venerated enlightened master and founder of the Kagyu lineage of Tibetan Buddhism. Mahasiddha Sri Naropa's story of how he overcame years of tremendous physical hardship to attain complete enlightenment through his unwavering faith and sincere devotion to his master is truly extraordinary. With deep gratitude to all the enlightened masters for their selfless dedication towards uplifting the whole of humanity, may truth seekers be inspired by Master Naropa's example of steadfast dedication on the spiritual path.
Vegan, because we know it helps to save our planet.
Noble viewers, thank you for your wonderful company. Coming up next is a gift of love, simple and nutritious cooking with Supreme Master Qinghai, vegan, homemade vegan noodles with soy protein, and vegetable sauce and silken tofu with homemade syrup, part 2 of 2, here on Supreme Master Television. May divine inspiration guide you always.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/ls.